Hello everyone. Hope you're doing great. As we are already started using JavaScript in our SAP UI5 for Vapor series, that is on a client side. And yesterday only I was discussing that I was thinking that it will be great if I can record a series of videos where we make our developer community understand how the JavaScript can not only also be used for client side, it can also be used for server side. So for server side, that is where the story comes to Node.js, right? So that is why because we started this journey with Git, understanding the distributed version management, and then from there we moved towards JavaScript to client side SAP UI5. Now logically covering Node.js also makes sense. What the intention is that we'll try to explore Node.js, and we'll also keep in mind are the ABAPer point of view also, as well as the non-ABAPer. So it will be for both the developer community, whether SAP or non-SAP. But we would like to, I would try to bring in those ABAP concepts so that you understand how it works. So before actually I go ahead and start with the installation, I think it makes sense to let me spend our next 2 minutes or 3 minutes in making, in going through the how actually it works, what exactly we are talking about. So JavaScript has its own history also, right? It started long times back during Netscape 1, but my idea of explaining you is to make you understand what we mean by server side, what we mean by client side. So basically JavaScript is more of an interpreter kind of a language, and when these browsers, they need to understand, they write their own, they each different, because there are different kind of browsers. For example, we have Chrome, right? We have Safari, right? And we have Firefox, Mozilla, different browsers. So each browsers, what they have done is they have written their own JavaScript engine so that they understand this and they are able to compile it into machine language with this thing actually the browser understands. So for example, the Chrome has written a V8 engine, the popular one, right? And Safari has something called as Nitro, I believe. And then this Mozilla or Firefox has this, one of them has Spider Monkey by the name, the engine. So all these are nothing but they are different engines written by different browsers to understand that JavaScript. Okay, and of course the Google V8 engine is the most popular one, this one, right? And it is written in C++. And why it is popular is because it is very fast and it does just in time compilation. That is why it is very fast, right? So now what we have seen is, let me divide this into two things so that you'll be able to understand that this is your browser. Okay, now here is our JavaScript. Okay, now the client side, this is a client side, we call it as client, right? So far when this journey started of JavaScript, this was primarily used on the client side. On server side, which is basically something which interacts with our database, this is our server. We were using primarily we were using PHP, ASP.NET, Python, and other languages, right? So given the kind of popularity JavaScript had on the open source world on client side, and supported by V8 engine, they were like, why can't we use JavaScript on server side also, right? Why can't we have a runtime which actually interpret our JavaScript and it can basically talk to the database as well as create the APIs which can be consumed by the browser. So that is where this Node.js come into picture. So Node.js is nothing but a runtime environment. So Node.js provides us on server side a runtime environment, and using which we can run the JavaScript code not only in that console, if you remember in our JavaScript for Vapor, but also not only client console but also on server side. So now how does a basic structure looks like of this runtime? This runtime has what we call it as modules. Okay, so before I go there, let me bring in the ABAP also here. And we were using ABAP for module pool, right? As well as we were doing our, let this T codes be our client, right? Client, I'm very bad in writing. And let these, this is our database. And ABAP was used also to, fetch the queries, interact with this database, right? So ABAP was doing both the things. So in our case, this has been in JavaScript, this has been replaced by browser, right? And on server side, when we save something which is exposing the data, which is talking to the backend and doing many other things, it's not only for writing web servers, it is for developing apps, Electron, different apps you can do with Node.js. It's, of course, web server is one of them. So now this server side interaction is now Node.js is also added an option where you can code things. So at a very high level, this is how the you can think of as how you can compare it ABAP with Node.js. Now Node.js has something called as modules, which are like you can say reusable stuff, right? For example, you need to send email, so you have a reusable module mail. I'm just trying to explain things. So for example, you need to create a HTTP server, right? So you have an HTTP module which somebody has written, and all you need to do is you can use that in your Node.js program and you can create an API. How do we compare it with ABAP? So it's consider this to be a client, to be a class. Class has different methods, right? Now this class is like a module, and these methods are nothing the individual part, the reusable stuff. Like you create an instance of a class in our ABAP and then you reuse its methods, right? The same way. Or maybe somebody in our older era of procedural programming, they had this big include where all the subroutines were there, or then we used to include that subroutine, include that in our main program and use those subroutines. So that is how normally this Node.js and ABAP is very similar, but yet so different and powerful. So this is how we understand. Okay, at a very high level, you now understand. Okay, it is something which will be help us in handling the server side interaction with the database, creating an APIs which our front end, which is again JavaScript or SAP UI5 or whatever, Angular, Ionic, React, whatever it is, it can consume those APIs in the data, right? So now what we will do is, as a next step, we will first install it, right? And then we will start our journey into it. Okay, so now we understand at a very high level of what it is and what we are trying to understand. So of course, the next step is to go for the installation. Installation is pretty simple and straightforward. All you need to do is go to nodejs.org, right? And then because mine is a Windows system, so it is showing me two versions. One is with latest features, another version is like a stable version. So I would recommend go for the stable one, as it won't break much. And once you click, then all you need to do is just open the installers like you do it for the normally for the other softwares. So you just say next. So leave it. We'll talk about this npm package manager. I don't want to install additional tools, so let's just say install. So now it is installed, and all you need to say is finish. And then let's just open our Visual Studio Code, and we are trying to do stuff in this episode, right? So as of now, I will not do. Let's forget this. Nothing exists. Let's just open a terminal. Okay, and now if you see here, if node is installed, let's run a command node -v, which shows us that okay, this version is installed. Okay, now if you just run this command as a node, so this is something which brings a REPL. REPL is like a read, evaluate, print loop where you can do try out stuff for your proof of concepts. Like for example, if you just say 2 plus 2 is 4, or you say let a is equal to 1, and then you say console.log a, it will say 1, right? So it's like the similar kind of a console which you see in your Google Chrome debuggers where we were doing some crazy stuff. And 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 there are some global objects available, for example process, and if you need to see what all exists in it, you need to say process dot press 2 times tab, and it shows you the different things, right? Whatever methods, attributes they exist, right? Or then this is basically you can do try out things. For example, you can try out how do I remove duplicates from an array and different things. So this is a REPL, and in case you want to get out of it, you need to say control C 2 times and you are out, right? So now we have our runtime, JavaScript runtime for our server installed. That is why I was able to run these commands. And of course, if you want to explore this further, you can have node -h and you can use it, right? So now we have our node installed. So if this is installed, then I should be able to kind of run this run the JavaScript code in my terminal also on my server, which is for the timing my terminal is, or my system is a server, right? So let me open that terminal again, and I've created an index.js file. You can name it as whatever you want, and let's create a PO object, my PO, the one from JavaScript, right? In our JavaScript for Vapors we were doing it. eBallen is 1, and then works, which is d01, and Bookers, you have Bookers. It is case sensitive, same like JavaScript is, right? So be careful. So we have 1000, right? Now let's log this value, right? Now if you remember, in our JavaScript for a Vapor course, we have to have our live server running, which was we were opening the browser and doing the stuff. But since we don't need a Glide, we need a runtime on server side. That is why Node.js is there. And right now let's see how do we run this JavaScript code on the server side. So but first let me copy the path and go to that place, clear. So now in case you need to run this JavaScript code, all you need to do is node, then the file name, right? And in the file name, what it does is it just console log whatever we had, right? And you see this red one, this is like a breakpoint. In case you must be thinking that okay, we were able to debug in Chrome by putting a breakpoint, how do we debug it on server side? So all you need to do in your Visual Studio Code is put a click here, it will set a breakpoint, press F5, and then choose Node.js. So what it will do is it will launch a launch a debugger. This is a debugger mode, right? And already you can see my code is already stopped here, right? And if I want, I can check the contents also, my PO, these are the contents, and it also shows you. And in the same way like you had it for Chrome, right, here also you can move forward, go back, skip, stop, and all, right? And we will have a separate dedicated session for VS Code debugging, but for time being, let's just understand that for server side also we have our own debugger facility available, and we use node command to run it as of now, right? And then once we will slowly build on it, and once you are comfortable with this, then we will bring in the concept of npm. You remember while we were installing, I talked about npm, that we will talk about it just to give you a high overview, because here Node.js contain different modules, or there are reusable stuff packages which are being developed, so they need and like in ABAP we have our one ABAP server where you can create packages and do crazy stuff, right? But here we don't have a server, central server or nothing. So what has been done is there is a central repository, I say in ABAP terms, right? That is created, which is more likely a node package manager, npm node package manager, where for example I have developed some reusable code, for example to convert markdown files to PDF. I will upload it so that anybody can use it, right? So this package manager, npm is like a package manager. It manages thousands of packages. We'll see how do we install a package, how do we basically create a package. Everything we will try to cover in this. Okay, so let's now move forward a step forward, that okay, now we are able to run our code here, right? Of course we will since it's the server side, we don't have a front end as of now, so everything we are going to look around as through a server. And then the plan is that we will create a API which will which will create an endpoint. When I say endpoint, it gives you a URL which you can access, that with which you can call in your front end application and access this data. So as of now we will see is how do I okay, this is fine, Nabhi, this is running and I can see, but how do I expose this data, right? So let's see that next. Okay, so now we have this console log PO. We saw that okay, uh, this is working fine, it is logging it, but how do my front end will receive it? There has to be a URL that needs to be created. There has to be a server which needs to be created, right? So what Node.js runtime has is a concept of modules which are inbuilt, which you can use, and using those modules you can create server and expose the data. So for example, there is a module name HTTP, right? So let us just see how do we use it. So if I say HTTP, right, it is very similar to ABAP. For example, if you have to use any methods of class which are instance based, not static, you need to first create an instance, then you use it, right? So now all I'm saying is I want to use this module HTTP, which I don't know what is inside HTTP, right? So maybe let's what shall we do is console.log HTTP, right? And let's just put a breakpoint here, right? Not here, we put it here, and let's press F5 and I choose Node.js, right? So it will open a terminal, which is good. And now let me then see what all exists in our stuff, right? So for example, here you see HTTP is nothing but an object, right? Okay, let's look, does it give us something using which we can create some kind of a server? Yes, it has a create server method, right, where you can pass these arguments, and then you can create it, correct? So that is how. So okay, so it has, so HTTP is nothing but it is an object, right? It is not different, it is still an object, but it's a reusable one. And how do we use it is using this statement. Now what we will see is let me just close this. Let's just try to use that method. So how do we call a method? We say HTTP class dot create server, then inside it you need to pass a function. Okay, so now this function has two parameters: request, which is incoming. If you are from front end, you are sending something, so that is like an incoming to it. The same way in function module you have a parameters, right? The importing, exporting, changing one. So we have importing request, and here is my response. Okay, and then I say let's just write a response. So I say response dot set header. Okay, so you need to I'll explain you. So basically I'm trying to tell that what is a expected output out of it, right? So I say this is a JSON. Primarily what I'm trying to do is, maybe let's just, before response dot header, let's just say response dot write hey, you have reached me, right? And let's also console log, so that you're able to see also in the console that you have reached here. Once I call this, right, and then once you are done with your writing your response, you need to basically kind of close this pipe. It is like the SAP script forms which we had. So if you don't close the form doesn't print. So in that way you have to close it, right? And then this is basically a server which is created, but there can be multiple servers I can run, right? But how do we differentiate which server is where? So that is where the concept of this port is coming, right? The port is like it give you an option that okay, I am running at 8080, I am running at 4040, right? So we'll say dot listen on which port. For us it is 4040, but you can name it any. Normally you can have, since we are into uh, coming from a BAB world, so when we declare those workflow tasks, those start with 9, so we can have 90, 90, 99,000, whatever, right? So just you press save, right? So now what I expect is that there is a server, somehow it will run, I will access it, it will give me this response, and I can see this in log. So let's just run it, node index.js. This I will also tell you how do we go around this. Each time I don't want to run this node index.js, we'll see how do we stop it. It will automatically reload like a live server. So I say node index.js, it started by logging this, now it is listening. At what port? 4040. So now we have this running on 4040, and let's go to localhost 4040. Let's see, yeah, so it's run. Here you have reached me, and if you look here you also see that you see the, let me add it like this, right? It makes now it looks better, I'll say, and I move this also below. Now you can see everything, right? So you can see that now it is sending me a response that okay, hey, you have reached me. So now let's maybe just move this, okay, and I want to send a response which is JSON, and I want to send this my PO, right? Now what if I use it directly, right? And I say control C, run it again, and if I just say this, you see this, there is an error which comes. The error says it needs something which should be of type string, and we are passing it an object. So we have, and we are setting the header as JSON. So what we need to do is we have a global JSON object, and we can use a stringify method, and it will basically convert our response or object to a string, and then it shall work. So I just press save, and now if I run it again, and now if I say reload, you see it is working now. So now we see that you can consume this localhost in your applications. So now till now what we have been able to achieve in the last 20 odd minutes is that we understood at a very high level what Node.js is, that it is a runtime on server side which can expose data. Right now we are exposing our local data. It can be integrated with MongoDB, MySQL, different things. We'll do that. But as a first, I think, session, we at a very high level we understand okay, it is able to create some APIs which can be accessed, like OData APIs, a BAP based API, gateway APIs, right? So those we are able to do. Now the only trouble which I am having so far right now is that each time I need to save a change, and need to change the file, then I need to start again, which is pretty irritating, right? So let's see how do we get around it. So maybe let's have it on the right, and let me stop the server, and there is a module. Okay, so let me talk about NodeMon. I heard about it from DJ in his hands-on SAP dev sessions, that NodeMon is nothing. It's a It's a package with, again, we are trying to reuse somebody else's stuff which has been made by somebody, shared across this repository. All it does is it is a tool that helps develop Node.js based application automatically restarting, right, when file changes in the directory. So all I need to do is, it also outlines the step. So we basically go ahead and we say npm install -g nodemon. Let me talk about this npm. So now when we were installing Node.js, the Node package manager by default was installed. We understood. Now in case you need to install any of the package reusable one, you need to use a command npm install. -g means I don't want for this project, I want to use it globally. Whatever Node.js projects I have, I want this thing to be used, right? So now let's see. Okay, I have installed it. Then what do I need to do? All you need to do is, you just, when you start your application, you just start it using your nodemon, your, and then bracket your app name. So now once you have installed it, let's see how do we run it. So if you look at this node npm package repository, you will see the documentation is very easy, readable, and to the point. This is how you install, and this is how you basically you can run your app. So now let's just go to our console, and I just clear the screen. I say nodemon, our file name is index.js, right? So now it started, right, and I can access our stuff. Nothing great, right, which you are always, any day you are able to do. But here comes the magic. For example, if I change this to console log my po hello abc whatever, and I just press save, it again rebuilds. You see, again the moment you press save, it restarts. So that is why I think the moment you have Node.js installed, immediately install nodemon also, so that you don't need to refresh your stuff. Okay, so I think this covers our introductions to the world of Node, right? We will be slowly and steadily going deeper into the things in our next video, right? So till now, what I will request everyone who wants to learn is to install it, follow this thing, and this code is already, I will put it in a repository. It is the same repository, YouTube live streaming one, and the link is also there in the video. And follow along with us, and let's have this, or take this journey together and discover something great, right? Thank you for watching, and do also watch our another series, SAP UI5 for Webers. Thank you, bye bye, take care, stay safe.